Hello folks, it's April 17th, 2007, and welcome to Trick's Takeout Triptych Show. I just went to a demonstration on a martial art called capoeira, a martial art that I'm very interested in, and I just fought somebody for the first time in almost 4 years, and it made me feel great. That kinda creeps me out. To hell with my continued practice of relevant music. Today's broadcast is going to start with Wig in a Box by the Polyphonic Spree. Alright, let me fill you guys in. A couple of years back I took martial arts for quite a long time. It was a mixture of several different martial arts with heavy concentration on Filipino stick fighting, Kali Eskrima, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Jun Fan, Jeet Kune Do, Jiu-Jitsu, and little bits from tons of other systems. I actually kickboxed for a good long while, and also did other forms of fighting. I obviously stopped taking martial arts classes because that doesn't roll too well with being a pacifist. And I haven't fought since, though I've done shadowboxing to keep in shape. Tonight was the first night that I'd actually sparred with somebody in a very long time, and it felt fantastic. Mayor of Nagasaki, Iko Ito, was shot today by the local Yakuza chief. He was shot twice in the back, one of the bullets pierced his heart, and he went into cardiac arrest and died later today. The man who was arrested and later admitted to the killing of the mayor was Tetsuya Shinu, a high-ranking member of the Yamaguchi-gumi branch of the Yakuza. The Yamaguchi-gumi is one of the largest branches of the Yakuza in Japan. Assassinations of political figures in Japan are considered extremely rare, but one of the most famous is the 1960 assassination of the socialist leader Inajiro Asanuma by a 17-year-old boy. Asanuma was killed by the 17-year-old sword-wielding ninja during a televised debate. In less depressing news, Pulitzer Prizes have been awarded. Pulitzer Prize for Fiction has gone to Cormac McCarthy for his post-apocalyptic novel, The Road. The Pulitzer Prize in Breaking News Photography went to Oded Balili for this picture of a Jewish woman refusing to be kicked out of the West Bank by Israeli security forces. In science news, it has been discovered that since the human-chimp gene split 6 million years ago, the genes of chimps have actually evolved more than the genes of humans. It is thought that this is because humans change their environment to suit them, whereas evolution causes the animal to change to suit its environment. It seems that the John Edwards campaign has a little bit of a cost that they didn't originally intend for. His campaign committee has picked up the bill for 2 $400 Beverly Hills-style haircuts. Why are they costing so much? Quite simply because not only is he getting Beverly Hill-level haircuts, he's getting them delivered to his home. But that's not even the best part. The best part is what CNN said. John Edwards' campaign paid $800 for 2 haircuts at Beverly Hills Saloon. Funny thing is that the saloon part actually makes sense, because a man would actually have to be drunk to pay $400 for this. Twice. Second point I'd like to... Now guys, let's just talk. We haven't just talked in a while, have we? What we're going to talk about today is writing. Mainly the fact that Cho Seung-Hee's writings have been brought up as a reason for him going on his rampage, or not so much a reason but as an indication. I'm going to provide you guys with links to the blog that has published these plays. If you guys are on YouTube, then they'll be over here. If you're in the ORG, they'll be in the comments up there. Those plays are... I think it's important that we understand that his writings don't really have any bearing on him as a person. I want you guys to read the plays before you watch the rest of this conversation, so it makes more sense. I'll wait.
Okay, everybody. Put on some makeup. Turn up the A-track.
Alright, you done reading? Good. First point I'd like to bring up. Neither of those plays are particularly well written. The second one wasn't too bad. The first one was pretty fucking terrible. Fiction. They have very little, if any, bearing on what Cho did at Virginia Tech. They do not prove he was a violent person. They do not prove that he had latent feelings of violence. The fact that all of his writings were like that proved that he had maybe somewhat of an obsession with violence. But even an obsession with violence does not necessarily point to a tendency toward violence. I would warn against doing what this nation has been seen to do in previous school shootings, which is try to fling the blame everywhere except where it belongs, on the kid himself. It's not music's fault. It's not his writing's fault. It's not what he read. It's not a philosopher. It might be his parents, but it's not nearly anybody's fault as much as it is the kid's fault. Okay? Cho was fucked up. I think we can all understand this. I'd like to bring up to you guys a quote from the kid who posted these plays on his blog. This is a kid who peer edited these plays and was an acquaintance of Cho's. While I knew Cho, I always wished there was something I could do for him, but I couldn't think of anything. As far as notifying authorities, there isn't, to my knowledge, any system set up that lets people say, hey, this guy has some issues. Maybe you should look into this guy. If there were, I definitely would have tried to get the kid some help. I think that could have had a good chance of averting yesterday's tragedy more than anything. That would have been a bad idea. You don't ask the police to just look into a guy because you're suspicious of him. You can't do that. That's a violation of personal freedom. Yes, there's truth in the statement that possibly they could have prevented yesterday's tragedy, but you know what else could have prevented yesterday's tragedy? Mentioning something to a psychiatrist. Mentioning something to somebody that actually could have helped them, instead of somebody who just would have confronted him about it. That's not the kind of thing you want to confront somebody about. Do you really want to set the cops on somebody that you're afraid to even criticize for fear that he'll snap? Come on, man. Seriously, think about it. Alright, guys. From here on out, news days are going to be Fridays, because that's when I'm going to accumulate my news. On the rare occasion that I don't get a chance to do it on Friday, it will be on Saturday. So, that's all I've got for today. Keep on surviving, and peace out. Oh, and if any of you guys want to actually physically speak to me, I do have a Stickum channel with the same name as I've got on here. Just look me up, friend me, and I'm usually on fairly late at night / fairly early in the morning. Usually between the hours of 11 and 4.